Welcome to the Ultimate You podcast with your hosts, Andy and Dipper. We're here to elevate, motivate, and help you evolve into the ultimate version of you. And welcome to season 2 of the Ultimate You podcast in our brand new podcast studio. Dipper, welcome to
Nice to
season
see
2.
you, Andy.
Nice to see you.
Season 2, can't believe it. And,
I know.
wow, you've done a great job here, mate, setting up this fantastic Ultimate You podcast centre.
It's very exciting.
Where we're going to bring you information day after day, week after week, month after month.
It's relentless. And I want to say thanks to the team for helping us set this up. But we have some amazing guests, and I wanted to kick off the season 2 with some people that are very, very important to us. And we have Bhushan, our legendary franchise partner from
Mount Waverley.
And
Nice
then we
to be
have,
here.
oh, sorry, my man.
Sorry,
and
mate.
lovely to have you. And then we have Nathan all the way from
Bendigo.
Amazing welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
And then we have Eunice all the way from
Brunswick.
So welcome, guys. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, great
Nice
to
to
see
be
you
here.
guys.
Good to
Nice
see you, Dipper.
smiling faces.
100%.
I've been at most of your ones, except yours at Bendigo, but
Coming
I'll be
next
there very
month.
shortly.
Actually,
can't
yeah.
wait.
What
Small
day have you
right,
got
mate.
there?
Yeah, I've been at Mount Waverley.
25th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe
Oh,
so.
yeah.
So we're up in Bendigo soon, which is
Yeah,
really
we are.
exciting.
We're going up there
rocking it.
very shortly because I've got a week in Bendigo, and I said to Andy, why don't we just call into the Ultimate You up there with Nathan and bring him some love.
Sounds good to
Which would be
me.
awesome, which would be awesome. So, guys, I wanted to kick off season 2 with our franchise partners and, of course, Dipper, because we've got a big year ahead, we've got exciting things to do, and we've got lives to change. And I wanted to get you guys in, talk about what your vision for the year is, the lives that you want to change, some of the wins that you've had last year, and just some of your experiences with our amazing clients, because we've all started this journey because we wanted to make a difference and make an impact. Do we agree with that?
Absolutely.
And every single month, every single day, we are working our butts off, waking up super early, grinding it out, having tough conversations, helping people change their lives, pushing them harder than they've ever been pushed before, all to make a difference in the name of health, wellness,
I feel like
mindset.
doing 10 push-ups now.
100%. And this is what we're here for. So again, the journey's been incredible, and I'm so proud of you guys. And I just want to start by saying thank you for everything that you guys do every single day and week. The impact that you guys have had has been incredible. The way that you represent UI and what we do is absolutely incredible. And we would definitely not be changing lives the way that we do without people like you. So again, thank you so much for everything you guys do.
Thank you.
Yeah, but also, you're a very good leader, Andy. You're very energetic. You really push the line, push the button, which is very interesting because, you know, like in all sports, like in teamwork, whatever, you need a leader who really wants to get the best out of people. And I think you should take credit for that because you do take, you know, this to the extra line and you do get the best out of people and they love the energy. I agree with that, guys.
100%.
Completely.
mate.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
my friend.
I mean, you guys put money into the business. This is a living for everybody. You know, doesn't matter what background. And talking about background, Bhushan, what a cool name, right? Just a little bit. What were you doing before you joined Ultimate You?
Dipper, I'm a banker by trade. I've been a banker for the last 15 years.
Wow.
And yeah, just near like as good as the role it was, that wasn't really good for my health and fitness. Sitting down, not doing any exercise. Here I am after that, changing my life and now changing many more people's life.
And you, I mean, being a banker, you're used to talking to people about their financial problems and their ins and outs. So you got a bit of an insight on how people felt, you know, because a lot of people out there, you know, finance is a big thing for them, you know, but they got to get their finance right, but also they got to get their mental mindset right to help them get the finances right.
Funny you say that because we've actually got a client right now and his goal was to lose 20 kilos. He ended up losing 25.
Wow.
And the reason he wanted to do that was that's something that's going to help him with his career. He is in recruitment.
Yes.
And he believes when he feels good about himself,
Of course.
he can then help more people. So they're all interrelated, definitely.
And what's been the biggest challenge for you? So owning your own, is this your first time you've had a business?
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
This is a business. You wake up being a brand yourself, right?
Yeah.
You know, your brand is Ultimate You brand, right? So what's it like working for someone for a big brand and all of a sudden you've got your own brand?
Look, when you're working for yourself, there is a lot more that you can do. Sometimes you're a bit restricted when you're working for someone else. Over here, as long as you have your values aligned with what Ultimate You is looking at doing, and that's something Andy and I talked about before we started. If that aligns, everything else like you don't feel like you have to wake up in the morning. You want to wake up in the morning.
Fantastic.
When you see some amazing clients, and I'm sure we'll talk to someone a little while later,
Yeah.
just to talk to them, you just want to get out and be there. That's what it's all about.
And he mentioned one beautiful word, and being part of a successful team with values. Values. Very
That's really what
interesting.
brings
And-
everyone together, isn't it?
Yeah, and sometimes we lose the value because sometimes you're either tired or whatever. I can't be bothered. But if you stick with those values, you know.
Exactly, and that's why we attract such similar mindsets and amazing people, because we're all attracted to the same values and the code, and we live by that every single day. So, Nathan, why don't I ask you the same question? You know, what were you doing before UI, and why did you join the fitness industry?
Yeah, fitness is an interesting one. My background is mindset and motivation. So for the last 20 years, I've been a speaker, professional speaker. For the last 10 years, professional speaker in high schools. So running motivational mindset, leadership, health and wellbeing, suicide prevention type workshops in high schools. And obviously, you know, where we met was in a training seminar. So, you know, remember that day, 2012, sitting next to you, learning all of the mindset strategies. You went off, you'd shared your vision about this Ultimate You model that was going to change the industry. I went off and did my high school thing, and kind of the paths came back and connected again. So more than, you know, I've never been in fitness, I'm not a PT. My background was more the mindset side of things, and the passion for me, I've been a member or a sponsor of big box gyms in the past, and I saw all of the flaws and the faults of the industry, and then as soon as I saw the model that you guys had put together in terms of bringing that mindset component in, that's really what attracted me to realise that, you know, to change lives, to change habits, you've got to get the mindset right. So still have the privilege of speaking to high school kids, doing leadership workshops, do business workshops, but then that brought in the ability to do that, but really change lives.
I think that's such a special part of what we do. The gift of being able to shift someone's thinking and help them see the world differently, see themselves differently. That not only gives you physical results, but that internal shift is the most important part. And I think I'm really grateful, I guess, to the landscape of the industry and just society in general at the moment, where I think it's becoming so much more accepted that you can shift internally, that, you know, mindset and working on yourself is more accepted now, where it used to be a little bit like a, I don't know, taboo or a weird thing to get into. And now we have the privilege of being able to help people and be at the forefront of that. So I think it's a really, really exciting time for the industry and our
great
clients.
news throughout the year about mindset and other.
100%.
So we've got some big news regarding that to all the franchisees and all the people coming in. It's really interesting what you said there, because, you know, being on the speaking circuit myself, you just learn about, if you're honest about what you've learned. You know, people are interested in your story because we all start from somewhere. I notice you don't go to the gym, right?
Thanks, Dipper. Thanks. Yeah.
And you notice I don't go to the gym either. But just trying to, if you could just change someone's, doing kids, right? So you're sitting back in the classroom. I can just imagine the kid, their arms are folded, leaning back. What's this all about? And all of a sudden they hear something. And I'm not quite sure if you use Instagram, whatever, but they contact you and say, hey, listen, I love the story you gave. I'm really being bullied at school. I've done this and whatever. Can I get help? Because a lot of the children that you're talking to don't want to put up their hands in front of their teammates, you know, because of the fact is they think, he's a bit soft or whatever. But it really is important now that we can talk.
Absolutely.
And change our mindset. If you don't talk, if you don't love yourself, right? If you don't love yourself, we're going to be in trouble.
100%, absolutely, and that's where true change comes from.
Absolutely.
Eunice.
Especially young ladies.
Absolutely.
And that's talking about young ladies.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
What a segue. There we go.
Talking about young ladies.
So
Brunswick.
Eunice, tell us, where were you, what were you doing, and why did you want to join the fitness industry in UI?
Yeah, well, I suppose very similar stories to what we've already heard. But for me, I've done a lot of things that brought me to this point. You know, being working in the non-government sector as a team leader in project management, and then in education for over a decade. I found UI as a client myself, and was shocked at what I could discover and the changes I could make, because I let all those excuses that everyone else makes, you know, impact on my health and fitness. You know, too busy, too tired, taking care of everyone else, family, work, everything else. And of course, at that point, I'd gained weight and become unhealthy and all those sorts of things. So when I became a member of UI, it had this sort of amazing effect of me going, oh my God, yeah, as long as my mindset is right, I can change everything. And it happens so quickly once you make the decision to get over your excuses and move beyond where you are and to be the person that you want to be.
Yeah.
And
But we're expecting people who own gyms or franchises to be, strong and healthy and whatever. You look cool, you're a gypsy-like woman, you've got beautiful hair, you've got different colours in your hair, and the way you just move around your gym is amazing, but you've got another, but you attract people like that,
yeah, absolutely. I suppose, and I've always worked with people, and I've always worked in industries where I guess I've got an interest in influencing lives in a positive way. So moving from what I've done in education into this seemed like a really natural kind of
100%.
next step.
Yeah.
And of course, the values of Ultimate You are so essential to everything we do, and they just really align to who I am and where I want to go.
Yeah, and I think the amazing thing about all our franchise partners and I guess Team UI is that the first thing that we look for in our partnerships is leadership qualities and a strong mindset and how to lead people to change. And that's exactly what we've all seen in each other, which is why this mission is so important to us. And that sort of brings me to my next question, which is about the lives that we've been changing, and every day we get the privilege of doing this, and every day I wake up and I'm so grateful that we get to. And I know last year we had some amazing stories come out at Ultimate You with lives changing, people coming off medication, literally lives being saved. We've had some stories at Footscray where people said to us that if they did not come in that day, they may not be here because they were that depressed. I want to know from you guys, what are some of the highlights from last year, 2019, that really made all the hard work and grinding and hustle worth it?
Yeah, I'll start. So there are way too many to start with to begin with. However, someone that pops up straight away is, we had this client, he's got a few physical ways for which actually prevented him from getting fit. Came to Ultimate You, did the challenge. At the way out, he said a couple of words that I'll never forget. He goes, I like at Ultimate You because I feel normal. And that was very strong. He didn't think he could lose weight. He ended up losing just over 12 kilos.
Wow.
He cried. He didn't want to cry in front of my coach, but after she left, he cried, and it just touched my heart, and I don't think I'll ever forget that.
I love that. And how common is hearing that when people walk through the door? People, and this is what frustrates me in the industry and why I wanted Ultimate You to do what we do and be so successful, is that it's so uncomfortable for people to walk in the door. People walk in the door and people don't realise that everyone's scared. Everyone's scared. Everyone feels like they're not good enough sometimes. Everyone starts a class and is worried that they're not going to be able to finish, and am I going to be judged? Are people looking at me? But what I love about the atmosphere and culture that we provide is that you are welcome, and it is normal, and that it's okay to start. It's okay to walk through the door and you're accepted. I think that, again, is such a core part to change that you just don't get enough of in life in general.
Yeah.
And I'm so, again, grateful that we get to provide that. That's such a great story and such a great example of that, right?
Exactly.
Being normal, that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
I think a lot of, I'm going to talk about ladies here, women, young girls, are pressured because when they go to a gym, a normal gym, they're made up. They're made up with their hairs ready to go, their makeup is on, they've got to look good before they go in there. And that's really, okay, look after yourself, but it's more of an image for someone else than themselves, And I've seen at Ultimate You, girls get in there and they grunge it out. They push it
100%.
out.
They work hard.
They work hard, especially on the pads of the boxing. They come on, you give me another one. Yo! And they're angry. They're angry.
They're normally hitting harder than the guys. Exactly right.
So have you found that when ladies have walked in and 1 minute got their hair in the ponytail, next minute go, you know what? I don't have to do this here because I'm here to work.
Over and over again, I have people coming through the door and saying, wow, this is such a surprise. And the amount of people come in and say, I don't do gyms. I don't come to gyms. I'm not even sure why I'm here. And then next thing you know, absolutely, it's their second home. And they look forward to coming day in and day out, and they can't wait to get there. And the community is so supportive. They start making friends, and it starts to be where they want to be. And before we came up here, we were having a little chat about some of the clients we know, and there was a woman in particular who came to mind who, we take what we do so seriously. We really are there to change lives. And when people don't show up, we follow up with them. We don't just go, oh, they didn't show up, there's another client coming later, doesn't matter. So this one person didn't show up, I got on the phone, I called, and she was outside in her car, and she was in tears. And she was like, I'm about to leave, I'm not coming in. I said, no, come in, let's chat. So we ended up talking for an hour and a half, and she was broken. She had been through, a relationship breakdown, all this kind of stuff happening. Anyway, since then, that was about a year ago, since then she's a changed woman. She has turned around. She's stronger than she's ever been. She's had massive social anxiety she's overcome. She's made friends in a new environment she never thought she'd be in. And now she's even a mentor to other people, other women her age, are looking to her and going, wow, look at what you're doing. And she's inviting them to work out with her. She's showing them how to do things, all that sort of stuff. And now she's even got a family member who's going over to Bendigo and doing her challenge in the next 2 weeks. So that's really exciting as well. So she's just
And that's the
spreading
ripple
that
effect,
love.
isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is the ripple effect. So it's magic.
And it started, and I love that you highlight that point. So many people go through life being told what they want to hear from everybody, and then they just
What they
continue
should do,
making
you
the
should
same
do this,
mistakes.
should do that.
But it's so rare that you get a group of people brave enough and bold enough to tell people what they need to hear in order to change. And let's be honest, change is an uncomfortable conversation, right? And one of our values is embrace the uncomfortable, embrace change, because we know what it takes to create change in people. Again, let's be honest, most people live in a state of denial around a lot of things. And the only way to break that pattern is to have a confronting conversation sometimes. It could be a call, it could be chasing them up, it could be saying, just take a proper look at the situation. But it's that person that is brave enough to have that conversation that will then change your life. And because of that conversation you just had, you've gotten other people changing their lives. It's that ripple
It's that
effect
one
that takes
fun-
place.
one
One
fun-
call.
Yeah.
Nathan, is there a difference between country people coming from Bendigo as not a country as in like, well, I say country people used to be in the country area. Is there a difference in the mindset in the country than inner Melbourne? We're all humans, I understand that, but is there a different mindset?
Yeah, look, I think that there's probably a bit of a slower pace. Country people are known for being a bit slower. We do have electricity and we've got cars and that sort of stuff. But I think, probably a little bit of the maybe slower intensity. Sometimes there is that need for challenging people a little bit more, because it can kind of then lead to just settling. If you're a little less intense, the slower pace. City. Your traffic's
100
always
miles,
going
yeah.
fast. Everyone's just 100 miles an hour. But I think the benefit of that as well is the community. Bendigo's got a significant community, and when you build a place, a human need is connection. And so when you build a place where more and more, even though Bendigo is known for its community, human beings are less connected. We've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, all of that sort of stuff going on, but struggling to find real human connection. I think number one, people are a bit more relaxed, but they're needing that community. So you find a place like Ultimate You, and it really finds it a home. So people find
100%. Yeah, I love that. Is there any great stories that you want to share? I know that you've had some amazing success, and every day I'm seeing on Instagram pop up massive weight loss, and it's incredible. Any stories that really stand out for you?
Yeah, I think there's two. I need to preface the first one with we are only involved in the health and the weight loss side of this story, but we've had 5 ladies who came in initially not being able to get pregnant, and because of their weight loss and getting their body healthy, they then came back and were able
pregnant?
Yep, so
Wow.
we were only involved in the weight
Is
loss
that
side
because
of
you
it.
didn't have partners?
No. But yeah, like the ability for someone to do something as significant
I love
as
you,
want to
brother.
have a baby,
Yeah.
and because they then get their body healthy, they get their body in a place where it's able to do what they need it to do. Another story is a guy. He worked underground in a mine. You see the before photo and you look at his face and you can tell both from a health perspective but also a mental health perspective wasn't in a great place. He started on our very first round back in March last year. Since then he's stayed on as a member and he's lost 40 kilos in total over 3 9 in 6 rounds. He's done the aftermath, now he's on muscle camp and he's getting married next month. So the journey that you can potentially be on with a client, and that's probably another thing that led me to Ultimate You. As a speaker, it's kind of like trying to give people a drink from a fire hose. Now you've got 60 minutes, you hope you can make some impact, but the ability to walk hand in hand with people across a whole journey where you can literally see them change their lives is pretty significant.
100%, yeah. And I think, again, it's so important that we recognise the responsibility that we have in regards to that. And as I said, our main job, we're not fitness instructors. we're freaking leaders, and this is the job. We signed up to be leaders of our community, of our tribe, of our centre, of our families, and I guess that's another thing that I'd love to shine a light on right now. What are some of the biggest leadership lessons you've learned after joining UI? I'm sure there's been many. As I said, you go into not only business, but you go into a business where you're leading a mass group of people, and you have to be the example. You got to take responsibility. You got to live by the values. You're facing adversity, challenge, not only in running a business, but then of course in running a community and families and your own private lives. What are the leadership lessons, or just one golden nugget that you would love to share with the viewers?
Yeah, I could start with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose for me, it's, you start your business, you've got this baby, and you've got to make sure it works. So you go, right, I have to be on top of everything. I have to be doing everything. I have to be everywhere. But ultimately, you can't, So the biggest thing about leadership in that context is finding the right people, what are their strengths, and then trust. Really trusting the people around you to be able to support and help and want to work towards the same common goals that you're working towards.
I love that. So
Yeah.
true.
Right,
So
love
true.
it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Nathan?
mine, self-leadership. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. So a huge journey for me has been the growth journey. I've been self-employed for as long as I can remember, pretty much straight out of uni. So, but that hasn't been leading a team. I haven't had staff. I've had the flexibility of doing what I want, when I want, however I want. But then to lead a team, you've got to lead yourself before you can lead the team. So you've got to make sure that, number one, you're in a good place. You're leading by example. People will do what they see you do before they do what you ask them to do. So you've got to lead by example, but you've got to know your mindset, your state, your whole being has to lead.
I love that. Well played. Well, Sean.
For me, I've been in leadership roles for about 7 years before coming to Ultimate You. I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing leaders, and one thing that I'm really big on is the school of Richard Branson. He always talks about look after your people, they'll look after your clients. And that's one thing that I've worked on since day one we opened.
Yeah.
The good news is that we've had same staff, like we've had very low turnover. We've had people who started with us 2 years ago and they're still there. And that talks to strength in Ultimate You Mount Waverley.
Yeah.
People love it
Yeah.
because they get to see the same people, more so they get to know them. They become really good friends.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
connecting people.
I love it. And you've done such an amazing job with that. Dipper, I want to just give these guys a bit of a rev up. And as I do, you guys deserve this. You deserve a high five off Dipper. Are you guys ready for this? I know it's a big reward. I'm sure you've been really excited about it. But as I go through, I just want to show you some of the massive success these guys have had through their leadership. And again, business is about the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows. But the one thing that I just want to point out with you guys is that the way you guys face your challenges has been truly inspiring. And every single day, whether it's a good day or a bad day, you show up. You show up as a leader, you show up and you try your best and you get your team to do what they need to do, and you think outside of the box and you handle pressure, handle overwhelm, and that's super, super inspiring. So again, I want to say thank you for all your huge efforts. Thank you for the way that you show up for our community, and I hope in 2020 we can show up at even a greater level to lead our community to success.
And what Ultimate View have got in 2020, you've got so many things happening. It's pretty exciting.
Very exciting.
Which I will tell you at another podcast.
Absolutely.
All right now.
Yeah. Well, you can mention
Well,
right
we'll
now.
let's do the TV show. We've got a TV show happening which will face our great man here, Andy Anderson, who's really going to change people on air and show exactly how the mindset can really work. So all the franchises are going to be involved in that. And also we've got some other interesting news through a university, how we can change people's lives through different ways, and obviously training is one, but mindset. And this is what I love. Success is nothing if you arrive at the finishing line alone. Right?
True.
Yeah.
Now, you can have all the success you want. You can stand up there and go, yeah, I've done it. Look around you and there's no one around you. Is it really worth it? No. So what you guys have done is when someone has success, they look around and you're standing right next to them.
Absolutely.
Congratulations there.
100%.
Yeah.
So let me give a couple of shout outs to Eunice. I want to say a few things about you. Last year, of course, I think one of the biggest challenges was building the team. And then all of a sudden, you built your team. And then from that, we saw some amazing growth. So again, from July to December, you had 47% growth in revenue, which is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But more than that, I'm so impressed with your team building, the team that you've been able to put together, and the training and accountability that you then enforce to make sure that the code was followed, the values were followed, and your community is a reflection of that. Because when we did our boot camp there, and of course every time I go in there, the energy is freaking amazing. The people are
Cool.
incredible, and what I love about Brunswick as well, it's so Eunice. It's like it's
really
just
cool.
you go in there and you're like, this is definitely Eunice's ultimate.
there's
You know
people
what I mean?
tattoos, there's
That's what
gypsy
I mean.
people,
It's so-
there's
it's so Brunswick, it's so
really
Eunice.
hippies are in there, whatever. and I'm trained with these hippies. I'm thinking, hey, look at you, cool man, whatever.
But honestly, you've done an incredible job, and I want to ask you this question: what would your biggest lesson in managing the growth be?
Keep your eye on the bigger picture. Know exactly where you're going. So for me, you know, as you said, building a team has its ups and downs for sure, you know, but knowing exactly what it is that I need to have everyone be achieving, and then making that really clear with everyone around me, and making quick decisions. Because of course, with building a team, there were people who had to come and go until the right people stepped in.
Absolutely.
You know, and then once you've got those right people, you go, right, make sure they know what their strengths are.
Yeah.
Make sure they know what they're building upon, and then give them that guidance to be able to take ownership of what they're doing.
100%.
And once that happens,
Yeah.
everything goes.
It's so true. And again, I think this is across every industry. The biggest challenge in business is the right team, the right people in the right places. And once you have that, you immediately see the change in the business and the culture and everything in between. But it's about finding that, piecing it together. And that's the biggest challenge in business in general. So again, we all learn that on our journey, but you've done an amazing job managing that and learning it. So again, well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Really proud of you. Nathan, let's talk about some of your wins. My friend, you've had monthly PB in revenue in November, but you backed it up in December. And why that is so impressive is because December traditionally is a lower month of revenue and a more challenging month in the industry. And you nailed it. So we were super impressed with that. And again, you've now exceeded your 100 member mark, and over 40% of these are Game Changer memberships, which is our new top tier premium membership. So amazing job.
Thank you, sir.
But what's most impressive is your mindset. Again, because you are a mindset and motivational coach. But let's be honest, business will challenge anyone's mindset. Let's say that. And I want to know from you, what's been your biggest mindset lesson in 2019?
I think so many, but one would be control the controllables.
Yeah.
You know, the reality is, whether it's running a business, whether it's life, whether it's health and fitness, whether it's being a dad, there's so many things that you can't control. If you focus on all of them, you become overwhelmed. So, you know, trying to make sure that the focus is on what can I control, what can I change. If there's stuff happening that is challenging, if there's stuff happening that I don't like the results, don't focus on the results. Focus on what's the opportunity, what's the solution. So, you know, that ability to try and put blinkers on so you're not looking at all of the things that are potentially challenging you or coming up all at the same time, especially, you know, you're adding staff to the equation, you're adding revenue, you're adding leads, you're adding clients, everything that goes on. And I guess from that perspective also, being a startup from March last year, there are some times when you're doing everything. You need to, you have to, but at the same time, you've just got to focus on what do I have control over and focus on changing what you don't want it.
100%.
Amazing.
And
Great
again,
numbers.
I hope you guys are listening to this, because these are the 1%ers in businesses and the subtleties in business that people don't learn about until you're actually in the trenches. Because you can read a textbook and you can watch a podcast, but until you feel it and you're in there and you know about the timing of things and all of those little subtleties, you don't know business. You don't know business till you're in the trenches. And that's exactly what we're doing. And this is why every day I wake up, the first thing I say to myself is, I'm so grateful for another day in the arena, because that's what it is. I feel like a gladiator every day. Business is the most brutal freaking sport in the world, hands down. Way more brutal than the UFC. And it takes a lot more guts, determination, mindset, all of those things in between to show up every day in the face of fear, in the face of self-doubt, in the face of everything, and give your best, and then learn how to implement the lessons for the next day. So again, hats off to everyone, not only us as a UI business community, but every entrepreneur out there that is willing to do that every single day. On to my next amazing man over here, Bushan. Let's hear about some of your wins.
Why
not? We'll skip you.
Okay.
You get enough attention.
Okay.
All right, so team development is a huge one. You mentioned that. You are really, you're an amazing leader and you're great with your team. But you took your family on a month-long dream holiday to Europe. You cannot take a month-long holiday. You've only been open less than 18 months. You've been
Yeah.
able to take your family away. You can only do that if you've got a great team structure. Do we agree with that?
100%.
You did an amazing job. You flew around Europe. You had a great time. The world didn't end, which is always a good thing, thank God. And at the same time, you've hit 250 members, and your culture and retention is outstanding. Bushan, congratulations, my man. But let
you.
me ask you, what is your biggest lesson in culture and team building that you'd like to share?
Oh, well, again, like Nathan said, lots of different lessons. When it comes to culture, it's simple about it needs to come from heart. If it doesn't come from heart, no one's going to believe in you. So that's the biggest thing that we talk about with our team. Second part, team building. Once something similar to what Yunus was talking about, finding the right people. Because there can be too many people out there. You need to get the people that are going to work well with your business model, who have got similar values as you.
Yeah.
And then coaching them.
Yeah.
If you have those two go hand in hand, you're going to have a great team.
And what about trust?
Well, you can't really have trust. There's no trust. There's no business without trust.
Sure.
Something that one of my mentors used to always say to me is people do business with people they trust. So yes, we have a lot of fun when like clients walk in, we keep stirring them about all different things, but we can do that because we've got that trust.
Sure.
So that's a really good point, there, Dipper.
I make good points, you know that. But
Oh, no, it's
that's why I'm Dipper.
always, mate.
Guys, we have an amazing year ahead, and
Yeah,
I'm
terrific.
so excited to be sharing it with you. As we said, we've got the show coming out. We've got an amazing partnership with iSense Psychology. We're going to be the first to be able to provide clinical psychology for free to our members,
good's
which is
that?
game
Amazing.
changing.
Amazing.
That's
Absolutely
amazing,
game
mate.
changing.
You know?
Members are so excited about it.
Good. We cannot wait.
And not
Because
just for
think about the
for
difference
training,
we're going to make.
for life. You know what's hurting them in life. You know, and some people don't have the opportunity to go. And Andy's done a great job to get this connection, and it's going to be massive, massive.
We are at the forefront of what we're doing here in the fitness industry and the health industry. And again, I'm so excited to share the journey with you guys. So I cannot wait. 2020 is going to be massive.
Massive.
And I cannot wait to share it with you guys. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Andy.
Andy.
High
Thank
five
you
all
very
around.
much.
High fives all around.